speak in front of a public, to speak in front of the people, it is called a glossophobia, mean that I feel myself so much fearful that I cannot face people, I cannot talk to them. And I feel like similarly, whenever I've been asked to come onto the stage, I feel a lot of more palpitation of my heart. I feel sweating all around and things like that. And many of the people, they have that sort of glossophobia fears over there. We have to crack the code. How can we overcome that fear? Because the most important thing, you remember last time I talked that you cannot imagine any of the company, any of the training company which is having any of the manufacturing company which is having the production, but they don't have a marketing department. So your communication skill is your marketing department. So if you know a lot about something, but you also have to be familiar with it, how you can market that content, how you can pass it on to the other people around. Now, there are two things we have to learn right now in which you can break that glossophobia, and you have to make a note of it. Number one, we are going to talk about what are the things we can break that. There are always two barriers to it in order to break that. One is called emotional barrier. Emotional barrier. Emotional barrier. And second is called a perceptual barrier. Perceptual barrier. Now, what is emotional barrier? Emotional barrier is that I feel fearful coming in front of my colleagues, coming in front of the general public, and I feel a bit of embarrassment, and there's a sort of fear in my mind. What is going to be happen if I'm not going to deliver it best? What is going to be happen? People might make fun of myself. So that emotional barrier hold us back, and we always hold ourselves back. Maybe some of the instances you remember, if you've been the type of that person that sometime when you have been in some of the bigger seminars and things like that, people ask a question, even you know the answer, but you are hesitant in raising your hand over there, in highlighting what you know about it, because this sort of things has been the emotional barrier. The second thing which is equally which hold us back is our perceptual barrier. So our perceptual barrier is that some of the things which we have perceived about ourselves, which was not truth, but we have perceived, maybe that was some sort of conditioning we have got since our childhood, maybe from our school, college, or someone around us, they have given us that perception, or we attain it by virtue of ourselves, that I cannot speak, I cannot express myself. So in order to come out of that phobia, you have to break your emotional barriers and you have to break your perceptual barrier. Now the question is, how can we do that? Now that's a very interesting question. How can we do that? The most important thing what I've been telling you, that many number of the time the fears in our mind is not the real one, it is an exaggerated one version of it. So in order to break it, you must experience it. That's the must thing. You cannot learn the art of public speaking while just going through the books or listening to lectures like this. You can't do that. You can understand some of the basic tools and techniques, but the most important thing, if you have a sincere willingness within yourself, you have to give it a try. So what is the lesson we are talking about? Whatsoever the things we are going to learn today, you are going to get to know what is the basic process of this public speaking. Then I would ask you that whenever you are being asked in your departmental presentation, or you have been asked to make it a presentation somewhere, you are going to use it without any concept, because anything, there is no emotional barrier over there. There is no failures actually. Whatsoever I've been doing, if I'm not being able to deliver the best, I get the something out of it. I can learn something out of it. That is the interpretation of it. And perceptual barrier are when I started doing something, and if I got a different result, my perception start to change. All right. I hope it sounds sense to you. So that is the starting point what we are going to talk about. Now we are going to see, I have put another word over here. I hope you can see that it is written as success. Now this all word has certain meaning behind it. So if you like to write it down, I would say that in the public speaking or in the training we are going to talk about, these are the things you have to look into that. So every word has certain meaning. So whenever I say what S stand for, there is, in every presentation, there should be some of the core message, and you must be clear about it. So for example, like the way I'm been communicating right now to you, I'm communicating right now to you. My question is that if I've been communicating something to you, what is the idea in my mind? What is the core message I'm trying to deliver to you? So if I'm having a clarity that my perspective of sharing that message is that I have to give you something of value which you can started using it, and you overcome some of your barriers and your presentations go to the next level. That's my clarity of my purpose. So I'm having a core message if I'm clear about it. So this is point number one. Number two, always have some sort of in your you stand for some unexpected surprise aspect which audience is not expecting. Some sort of an unexpected surprise in your presentation. Now, for example, I'm talking about some of the potential and some of the capacity right now with you. So let's take some example for you. You can see in my hand, there's an apple, all right? So if I cut it out and I put it into two pieces, now you can see that there are two pieces over here. See how many apples are there in this one seed? Think about it. Now, if you look into that seed and you say, all right, if I put that seed inside the soil, there will be a tree of the apples will come out of it. And if I took all the apples and if I took all their seeds and then I put that seed back into that fertile land, there will be a lot more trees. And then, so you can see in one seed, there is a potential of millions and trillions of apples that are hidden inside. All right, millions or trillions. Now, if I use this one and I ask you, you are an example of that seed which has a lot more capacity and potential which is hidden within yourself, and you can deliver a lot out of yourself. You are having a greatness beyond your own expectation. Now you see what I'm using right now, I have used some unexpected surprise and I have related it with my subject. Now this is one example, so you are not expecting that I'm been just showing you straight away some of the apple and something like that, but I use a very strong metaphors, because metaphors is an example which we use in our daily life and we can relate something with that. Now the third thing when we talk about C, it is called the concrete message. We have a clarity, core message, and it has some concrete steps. You can say some of the structure I have to follow. So if I'm been following some sort of structure, so in every presentation, in every type of public speaking event, in every type of interaction, whenever you have been doing that, always remember it has a structure. So what is the main structure we are talking about? It has some of the preparation stage, then it has some sort of execution in the middle, which whenever you are being executing that, and then there is an extension of it, there is certain exit, there is some follow-up after that. So every presentation has three parts which you have to be focusing. So while I've been coming to you, I had made a lot of preparation before that. So my preparation, if it has been good enough, then during the execution, I'm being more solid in my presentation. I sound more confident about it. And then after the presentation has been done, then there is a follow-up part onto it. So we have to have what are the different steps, and we are going to talk about it. Now, what the E stand for? What does the E stand for? E stand for that in every presentation there is certain emotional appeal. Remember I talk about one of the interesting statement I said, one of the interesting things that said that we are not the human beings who are going through a spiritual experience. We are actually a spiritual beings who are going through an human experience. So basically we are an emotional beings. And if I give you an example, whenever you made bigger decisions in your life, for example, buying a car or some of the, if you have to purchase a house, etc. My question is it you are the only one who take that decision, or you engage all of your family around? And you say, oh yes, of course, because we are making a decision, so we have to bring all the family around. So it means that we are in major of the decisions. It is not purely based on logical reasons. These are based on emotional reasons. We are emotional beings. So our message should have an emotional appeal. So someone has said that people don't care, your audience don't care how much you have been knowledgeable, how much you know about the subject. But they are knowledgeable how much you care about them. So the lot more care you have for your audience, the more they are being get connected with you, the more they are being able to respond to you. So your message should have an emotional appeal over here. Instead, for all senses. So for example, how many senses we are having? So if I say that, and I'm going to talk about that we are the visuals as well, we are the hearing part as well, and we would like to feel it as well. So in every time, whenever you are having an audience, there is a bitter mix of the people around who would like to, some of the people like more prefer to be listened to it, they would like to be more tuned in with the lectures. There are some of the people, or rather majority of them, they would like to see something as a visual as well. And there are some of the people who like to have something to get hands on. And please remember, in all the adult learning program, because whenever we talk about as a trainer, whenever we talk about a public speaker, of course, whenever we are going to design a program, we should not just have the lectures only. We should have designed some sort of case studies, brainstorming, which can facilitate the experiences of the people. So I have just highlighted it under success, SUCCESS. So these are the things which we actually utilize during our process in which we are conducting our sessions.